Welcome one, welcome all. We have a great time ahead of us because it is the first NFL main slate of the regular season. We have the Millie Roundtable with us. And obviously, if you have watched the show before, you might not know who is the special guest that we have and will be here every Saturday. It is our guy, Felix Castro. You can find him on Twitter at Crying Buffalo and then on YouTube as well at Best Ball Nation. The links are in the YouTube description below. Felix won $1 million on DraftKings a couple years ago in the Best Ball Season 2. He is an absolute stud when it comes to not only DFS and Best Ball, but also, you play a little bit of everything and you have great takes on NFL. We're excited to welcome you here, Felix, man. How are you doing?
Dude, excited to be here, be a part of Run Pure Nation, Run Pure Sports. And sorry, I've combined my own with theirs. But yeah, I'm excited to be here. Excited to talk football. Just excited, man. Tomorrow is like our Christmas.
Absolutely. And the great thing about Felix too is when we get on shows, we align a lot. He's a Chargers fan. I've been a big fan of stacking Justin Herbert for almost a few years now and jamming him in drafts. It's easy to get along with him. He was a big Najee guy, obviously.
Yeah.
Maybe not so much now with the eye issue, but hey, we got a lot of potential here. It should be a great time, and it's great to have a former Millie Maker winner, in best ball and also in DFS. I know that you do a lot of stuff too with underdog and stuff. I know you still do those drafts, which a lot of edge with those. A lot of people.
I took down the battle royale. Yeah, and then and got fourth last year.
See, that's the type of impressive stuff. And I know you won to like 25K near the end of one season too, just on one of those $5 rapid drafts that happens because you're always around football. We got a great time here. We got Broccoli Taco in the chat. We got Riles, Richie Smalls, and then Fidel Cash. No, it's not.
I got that my entire life. So yeah. That's what my football coach used to call me. He used to call me Fidel. So I'm like, ask me about Cuba. So all good.
Good stuff. All right, guys. And then we have a few games to get to. Not just a few games. So we got, 12 games to kind of talk about here. Henry Segal, nobody is playing Bryce Young, and he's good value. Well, lucky you. That will be the first game that we get into. And then Chris Ostro, welcome back, boys. Good to have you back, Chris. Zero Gravity. Happy Joe Flacco Day tomorrow. That will be, as a Bengals fan, I am very much locked in on that situation as well. And Christian, what's up, man? Guys, we got a great summer. We had a great summer. We have a great fall ahead of us for the NFL season. Be sure to check it out on Run Pure Sports. If you're wondering about becoming a member and you're looking for a special discount, I heard if you DM Big T on Twitter, you can give him a DM there, and he'll give you a special promo code to try out the site. Be sure to check that out. Hit him up. It's a great deal. You can't pass it up. Prices are as low as they have ever been here at Run Pure Sports. You can get everything, including Saber Sim access for 150 lineups with Run Pure Sports projections in particular. And you can also get all of the great NFL DFS content and much more along with it. Felix, are you ready to get to game one here?
Let's go, boy.
All right. So we got the Panthers taking on the Jaguars. When DraftKings releases the slate pricing about a month in advance, I've had a holder in for a long time, Felix. You know what that stack included? It was a Jaguar stack, a Jaguar stack. It was Trevor Lawrence at 5,300. It was my guy Brian Thomas at 6,800. And I'm looking at it; they're going to be double-digit ownership here. Yeah. You also got Ted McMillan, who is getting a little bit of ownership as well, according to Saber. Yeah, and you love Ted. You were a big Ted guy throughout the draft. I have a college football card upstairs signed by Ted McMillan, a PSA 10. That's good. That's good mojo right there. It's my only sports card in this household. The others are at the other house. But Felix, what are you doing with this game? It doesn't seem like it's going to have a ton of ownership. But man, these are two teams that I feel like have a little bit of explosion in them.
I think both the defenses aren't like great. There's a good cornerback one on the Panther side, but other than that, there's not a lot of pressure that comes out of there. So they're going to have all day to throw. Bryce Young, he uses his legs towards the end of the season, look good. Pair him up with T-Mac and Jatavian Sanders and bring him back with Brian Thomas Jr. And you got yourself a nice little game stack there.
Yeah, you get some really nice stacks, and there's a lot of guys where I think it's a little bit of unknown. And before the show, you were telling me a special thing about Travis Hunter because if anyone has been watching best ball, my big take this year was Travis Hunter was the worst pick in the entire world. And the fact that if you don't know he's going to play D or offense more than half the time, then why are you taking him in the top 50? This was in June. But you are saying that it sounds like he is going to be a primary wide receiver, at least to start out this season, right?
It was reported that he's going to play every down at wide receiver and then play situational cornerback. So is that wheels up, or do we just take it like they're just bluffing?
I don't know. This is my issue with him because like you got Liam Cohen there, rookie head coach. I don't know how well he's going to manage this situation in particular. I think it's a little bit of a distraction at the moment. You have a guy who's a great athlete, great football player as well. At the end of the day, he's still wide receiver number 2. He's still the beta in this offense. He is still going to be second fiddle to Brian Thomas Jr., who is a top 10, I would say a top 10 wide receiver in the NFL. And I look at that and Felix, like I just don't know, right? But here's the thing. If I'm high on Trevor Lawrence, I already got a price tag of $5,300. I can already stack Ryan Thomas. And what's very popular, especially in the Millie Maker, is double stacks.
Yeah,
I am okay throwing Hunter in there. And I didn't expect to ever say that coming into the and I don't want to say it. But we also got a comment in the chat here, too. And this is a really good comment because this is a guy who I actually really liked over the course of best ball season as well. Brendan Strange, a guy where he had some explosive games last year when Evan Ingram was out. This is him. He is the primary tight end in this offense. Are you more interested in the Jaguar side over the Panther side?
I'm interested in BTJ and Strange, but I'm not. I need to see it before I play Hunter. I maybe just like one game because he could be full of it, and we don't know yet.
Yes. I kind of agree with that as well. He can be we just have a little bit of the unknowing, right?
Yeah.
With Travis Hunter overall.
Which it's okay to bet into the unknown, but I don't know. There's something fishy going on over there, and who knows? Maybe they're playing more Dami Brown over him just to make sure he doesn't, keep him fresh.
They got De'Ami Brown. They also traded for Tim Patrick. They also have Parker Washington, who's going to be active for this game. And it doesn't look like Tim Patrick's going to be active for this one. It doesn't look like. But,
and they had 3 running backs.
And they made moves where it maybe seemed like maybe Travis Hunter won't be playing all that much wide receiver. So hearing that, it could be a bluff. I like Christian's comment. I'm playing 0% Hunter all year, and I'll live with it. I like that. You know why? Because we're fans of Ashton Genty here. And Ashton Genty was robbed of the Heisman. I'm going to stand on that one. But nevertheless, you do have a little bit of potential from a DFS point of view. He was a beast at Colorado, but also any wide receiver in the last 2 years was a beast in that Colorado offense when they were getting the usage. Felix, we got, some injury situation piling up in Carolina, right? Adam Thielen gone. Tet McMillan only 5,200. That's kind of the appeal for Tet, right? Because this pricing was released with Adam Thielen. He is only 5,200. You get him where obviously you have, again, you don't really know what's going to happen. This isn't a great Jags defense, though. You also get the fact that Jalen Coker was put on, 4-game IR, I think, right? And Hunter Renfrow is only 3,200. You got Xavier Legette, where are they a believer in him or not? Right. It seems like you could go any direction here with this Panthers offense, and that includes the running backs. Like, what are you doing with the Panthers here?
So the Panthers, I'm always playing T-Mac, Bryce, and then I'm going to have some Jatavian, and I'm going to sprinkle in Legette, but I'm probably going to stay off of Renfrow, even though, I like Renfrow. Got me a big win a few years back, but, I like to stay a little to my guys, but I think it's a little bit past his time now.
Yeah, and when we look at, the fact that it's the first slate of the season, you have already a bunch of value. And there's a decent
there's so much value.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Do you really need to force in a 3,200 receiver who's going to be maybe out of the slot, right? Like, we don't know the exact role. He was actually decent in the preseason overall, but again, it's going to be a really low ADOT. It's going to be like one of those 5 catches for 27 yard type stat line if he does anything. But yeah, I mean, you're taking the chance on the big play guys like Xavier Legette, profiles well for a downfield threat. You got Tet, who was just a beast at Arizona, did everything well, and should be the best wide receiver in this class. I think I would. It's a matchup of the 2 best wide receivers supposedly in this class. So yeah, and I think the one guy I'm just really kind of coming into a mental block with is the running backs. Not just the one guy, but the one position. Talk to us about this Jag situation. What did you do in best ball when you were kind of approaching the Jaguars? Because again, No, nobody really knows. They might think ETN's going to be the main guy, but then it could be Tank Bigsby who get the early down carries and just ETN on third downs. And same thing with the Panthers, probably mostly Chuba, but it could be closer to a 50-50 split with Rico. What are you doing with these backfields?
So I played it with Tootin, drafting as much Tootin as I could get. But I think this is going to be similar to Tampa Bay, what they did last year, where they had 3 running backs, where Rachaad White, a.k.a. Travis Etienne, is going to get the first run at it. And then as the season progresses, Tootin's going to take the lead, but he's going to be kind of backed up by Bigsby and Tucker / somewhere in that race. Those 3, like they're going to be spot on. But I think they brought in Tootin because they literally talked about they needed explosive players like Tootin. They bring in their guy; they're going to play their guy.
Yeah, you're exactly right there. And Landa, I agree. I know that Jags were one of the worst defenses to target. But my thing is, I don't want to be the guy who makes these stands that are purely from 2024, right? Because you got a lot of changes, you got a lot of coaching changes too. When we get to the Bengals, I'll get to a lot more of that too. But it's like, just because something happened in 2024, I don't want to get into the habit of just assuming that's going to happen in 2025.
Right. Yeah, you don't want to be chasing. You want to get ahead of the curve.
And Landa's a smart guy. Here's the secret about Landa, Felix. He does not like Justin Herbert at all. He doesn't think he's a top 10 quarterback. I got to call that out. He doesn't think that he's the top 10 quarterback in the NFL. And Landa, he's a top 5 quarterback just for what it's worth.
We just beat the Chiefs, who were in the Super Bowl. Just putting that out there.
That is exactly, yeah. I mean, not only beat the Chiefs, thoroughly kicked their butt.
Passed it all around 300 for 3 TDs. Let's go.
I have to take my shots when I'm up, Lando. When Justin Herbert had a bad game, that was not going to be said. I was not going to say you were right. I have control. Wiley will come in and talk some sad, good stuff. All right, so I think that's enough about Jaguars and Carolina Panthers here. Yeah. When we get to the rest of these games, I do want to mention for those who are watching, we will build a pick 6 at the end of the show, and it could feature for many of these games. So, I'll try and feel out who Felix is on, who I am on as well. We'll build a bag builder together and hopefully win a share of I think it's $1.65 million at the time. I think it might be actually 1.8.
I think I saw 1.7 earlier, so yeah.
I think it will get to 2 mil.
1.85 right now.
I think I have an extra entry, and just for linking my Discord, I don't know how that works, but I do have multiple entries apparently, and we'll kind of get into the pick 6 bag builder a little later on in the show. That sums it up for Panthers and Jags. Let's move on to the Cardinals and the Saints. How can I put this, Felix? The Saints
are tanking.
This is about as tanky as it gets. And when you go into the season with Spencer Rattler and Tyler Shuck as your guys, what can we expect? However, coming into the slate, Alvin Kamara is only 6,300, and Alvin Kamara has been a part of some bad teams and still absolutely crushed. He is the guy I'm going to be leading off with, Felix, because I think he is going to be one where a lot of the cash game bros will be kind of slamming him in because the floor should be there, especially early on in the season, right? He's not going to be happy if he was just getting 12, 15 touches, right? He's going to want a large workload. He's going to want his receptions, his carries, his touches. But outside of him, I don't think there would be much reason to get excited. And I say that as a big Ohio State Chris Olave guy. What are you doing here with the Saints?
So I'm just straight fading everything from the Saints. It's hard to score any points when you're going 3 and out. And with Spencer Rattler back there, you're not going anywhere. So in all honesty, if I'm probably going to stack, I'm probably going to be heavy Cardinals, even though if in a blowout, what kind of scenario do they have to keep up with them? And the only person from the Saints I'm going to probably touch is Olave, and I don't even feel good about it. I might just run a naked Cardinal stack and go from there.
So it's interesting too, and obviously this is the concern with Olave as someone who drafted a ton of him last year and still drafted a ton of him this year. I hope we can get through more than a few plays. I'm gonna play devil's advocate here.
Okay.
Trap game for Arizona. A lot of people counting out the Saints. A lot of people. I think everyone is counting out the Saints this year. It's in New Orleans. It's a tough place to play. The Superdome, baby.
Sorry, one second.
Oh, you're fine. The Superdome is a very, very tough place to play. I got Alvin Kamara. I got Chris Olave. I got Rashid Shaheed, who missed a significant portion of last year after starting out on fire. What if I told you I'm on the Saints to cover here? And I think that they can score 20 points, even with Spencer Rattler at the helm.
I can see it, but it's going to be pretty. I just don't see how. The defense isn't amazing for the Cardinals, right? But just the whole offense, I just can't see them getting there.
That's the problem, right? It would probably be more through touchdowns, maybe forcing some turnovers, Kyler into bad decisions, which anyone who's been watching Kyler for a while, knows that it is absolutely in the cards.
Right.
I just kind of come back to the fact that everyone's counting them out. This is a game where it's in New Orleans. That is true. Yeah. In Arizona, I think I would be on the field and I'd be like, you know what? They suck. I'm done. We're not playing the Saints at all. I do think they're going to be competitive here. And how many times have we really kind of just it's ruled out a team and all of a sudden they're very competitive? And you can take that thought through anything in DFS, right? There's so many times where, you just might roll out someone and sure enough, they become optimal, right? Where it's like, especially in MMA where it's just like 1v1, this guy doesn't stand a chance in MMA or this player doesn't stand a chance in a tennis match. Like, obviously it's not 1v1, but they're so cheap. And you can stack Olave and Rattler for under 10K. You can stack Kamara and Olave if you just wanted to do a two-man without their quarterback, pray for some heavy usage where it's just a funnel to those two guys. That's my case for them, right? Okay. Where it's just you're fresh coming into the year.
Right. I get it. Now, and they're good value. I'm not going to deny their value, but there's just so much value on this specific slate that it's like you could get to maybe a piece, but I wouldn't want to game stack this one in general with them. Like, I don't know. I think, a trailing script. Yeah, I can see that.
Trailing script for Kamara would be like one of those
things. I can see him.
Realistically going to be.
I just don't think he has a ceiling as much as he has. He has a decent floor because he's going to catch a lot, But I don't see his ceiling in this game.
All right, talk to me about the Cardinals here. We got James Conner. Richie Smalls mentioned the best time to play James Conner is in the first 4 to 5 weeks of the season. Do you think this backfield is going to be more of a 50-50 split potentially here with Trey Benson?
I don't think it's going to be as much as they kind of talked it up early. I think it's going to be still 70-30. Maybe he gets a series every 3 drives or something along those lines. I think it's still his kind of workload, and maybe if he tails off, maybe they start to change it, but I don't think that's going to be early in the season. I also agree that early in the season, James Conner is probably the guy. This is a defense where you can run it all over him. Trey McBride's going to pop off. I like every piece that the Cardinals have. I'm going to have probably one piece every other lineup, just one piece from here.
And, obviously talk about James Conner. Who is that, one piece? It's probably going to be the highest owned amongst your group because I look at Trey McBride at 6,200. Yeah. I'm a big pro either punt.
I get it.
Right. Where it's like, I don't want to be like in between and play like, Hunter Henry too many times at 3,500. Yeah. I'd rather take my chances on a guy like Trey McBride or Brock Bowers who were top tier last year. Trey McBride, his touchdown variance was extremely bad last time out, but it's the new season.
It's a new season.
Yeah, I don't like taking stuff from like last year where it's just like a complete run bad. Like sometimes touchdowns can be
variable. The variance.
He's obviously handicapped with Kyler Murray playing quarterback, but it's got a lot of stuff here. But would Trey McBride be your number one Cardinal?
Yeah, at the tight end, but him and Bowers are definitely my tight ends this week. And then so like Kyler said he wants to run more, so I think the offense. I don't think he meant like he's going to run more like designed runs. I think he's just going to probably run more to get first downs instead of take that chance where he throws dumb balls like he did in the preseason game right to the defense. So I think he's going to run, get the first down, and like extend drives in that sense instead of throwing 50-50 balls to MHJ, who I do like this year. He's going at a better price than best ball, and I think he needed a year in the NFL to get acclimated.
Yes, and I also think that the Cardinals offense did him zero favors. And again, I'm an Ohio State glazer, so I'll dive for my guys like MHJ and Olave here. Marvin Harrison Jr. is an absolute stud. just a matter of will Kyler Murray look his way. And, I think this will be a very, very clear target funnel. I think Marvin Harrison Jr. and Trey McBride will be probably, if you had to just take the top 2 target shares on a team, I think that they would probably be close to the top this season. It'll be it won't be the same as Higgins and Chase, even though their target share can kind of dip just because Burrow spreads it around so well. But it's just one of those things where I think this offense will funnel through those 2 guys, plus whoever's playing running back, which Connor, I do kind of agree with you. I do think it might be closer to a 70-30, like you said, 65-35, where Benson may play, once every 3 drives or so, where just keep Connor fresh. They were using the terms, RB1 and RB2 this season. They were calling, or RB1 and RB1B or something like that.
Yeah. There's something silly, yeah.
And the Cardinals offense coordinator was like, I didn't hear about that. But yeah, anything else you want to add about this Cardinals Saints game?
Rashid Shaheed is like we talked about earlier. It's a good one-off for a cheap price, but again, there's so much value, you don't have to waste it here.
What about the Cardinals defense here? This is we got a question here a couple times here.
Yeah,
the Cardinals defense likely will be a little chalky. The problem is they're 3,500. Yeah. So when you have a defense 3,500. It's not like showdown, right? Where all of a sudden 30% of the people will gravitate toward an Eagles defense, where Jalen Carter will then spit on Dak Prescott and derail their hopes. But ultimately, I do think you're going to see probably around 6-7% on the Cardinals defense because of the Saints' bad reputation. It's Spencer Rattler quarterback, right? You can't go wrong with it, but don't go out of your way to ever fit a 3,500 defense, right, Felix?
Right. No, they're not a must play, and they might be ahead in the game, but I still don't think they're gonna they're not gonna throw it because Spencer Rattler is back there because they're down. I think they will check it down to their life end, and you might get some sack points. But I don't think they're going to be throwing it where he's going to give you easy pick balls onto the outside. I think it's just going to be everything close to the line. It's not going to be because it's not going to be a shootout, so you're not going to get a bunch of sacks, and it's not going to be. I think it's going to be all Arizona controlling the clock, long drives, and
yeah, and I kind of with you there too. Where it's the fact that Tyler Shough was making some really serious errors in training camp, it sounded like, and even in the preseason game, he was definitely second tier.
Not good, yeah.
It's the same thing that you said, though. If they're trailing, they're not going to try and throw their way out of it and throw into mistakes. It would probably have to be one of those things where they'll try and manage the clock at least early on. And yeah, I'm not going out of my way for this Cardinals defense at all. All right. What a game we have ahead of us here. We get Russell Wilson taking on the Washington Commanders here. Jaden Daniels played, 3 snaps in the preseason, and they were all 3 runs. And one of those, he didn't just go down. He went into the end zone. He's ready for real NFL football here. You got the Giants defense. Speaking of defenses that might get a little bit of steam, it's just because of the fact that they are 2,300. And someone mentioned it earlier. Who was it? There it is. Henry Scott mentions 2,300 Giants D is a basement play. I love living in the basement.
Me too.
Oh, for defenses too. But yeah, I don't mind ever kind of just jamming in whoever I want with the tight ends, wide receivers, running backs. If I'm just punting defense, I'm not going in with that mindset. But if I filled out a lineup with 8 or 9 of my favorite plays, I'm like, okay, I'll plug in the cheapest defense possible and kind of go from there. However, this is a good, healthy team total for Washington. Let's see. This offseason was kind of a mess for them. Terry McLaurin finally signs a couple weeks ago, signs the extension after holding in. Had a slight hammy issue or whatever it was to kind of cover up the fact that he just wasn't really reporting. It was, the gray area, right?
Yeah.
You also have it like Parsons with his back and whatever. You also have their running back situation completely flipped on its head. Brian Robinson traded to San Francisco. This will kind of lead to a situation where Austin Eckler probably will be the lead guy, I would assume. But you should have Chris Rodriguez, who sounds like could be the goal line guy early on, and then who knows what happens with Bill Krosky-Merritt. I'm done talking about him. But, we can talk about him here. But I do think it'll be Eckler and Chris Rodriguez in this backfield, at least for game 1 here, Felix. Anything to add to the Washington side? Who are you interested from them as well?
So of the running backs, I'm taking Eckler. I'm not touching C-Rod or Bill. I was out on Bill. I got 1 share on in best ball. That was about it. And then the quarterback is always in play with his legs against this. I mean, the defense is actually isn't half bad for the Giants. They upgraded their line, so that's why I'm okay with playing the Giants team, just because they've improved the defense. They've gone out of their way. It may not be like Jaden Daniels, like 23 projected points. Like it could be a little bit lower, but he also has the high upside. You have to play him in some lineups. Him and the upgrade in Debo. I think Debo might be playing a lot more running back than other people think. So Debo is going to be one of those sneaky plays I think could hit a ceiling in this game.
And you saw in the first play of the preseason, right?
Yeah.
I think it was a designed run for him against the Bengals there on Monday Night Football. The time to play Debo, same thing what we said about James Conner, same thing that the comments said. It was early on in the season while he's fresh. I think the first 4 weeks are going to be the best you see Debo. I think Debo's washed. However, washed players can look really good to start out a season. I ain't gonna argue with that at all.
Yeah.
And you know what? If you do want some exposure to the running, I think that's a really good idea. And what you said there, Felix, too, is just like, what if he's the goal line guy? All of a sudden, you just see Debo and Chris Rodriguez in the backfield. You think Chris is going to get the touch, and all of a sudden, wham, it's Debo up the middle. It's definitely something to kind of think about here. But yeah, I mean, wide receiver wise, like you just look at this Washington team, there's not a ton of volume, right, with the pass catchers. And, if you're playing Terry McLaurin at 6,200, you're not going to get there with, 9 catches for 100 yards. You're going to try and get there with 4 catches for 70 yards and 2 touchdowns. I mean, that's just the reality of it. And I was someone who didn't play a lot of Washington last year because of that reason, right? And it's tough. I mean, Zach Ertz in a trail script seems like the guy that Jaden Daniels will rely the most on and kind of give him a floor, but even he is 4,100. To me, despite the healthy team total, the prices are all a little bit high here, Felix. And I'm kind of passing mostly on Washington. Daniels is fine. I'm a proponent of you can run a quarterback naked and be fine. In the Millie, it's a little tougher. Don't get me wrong. But if you're doing single entries and stuff, I think it's kind of fine to do it with Daniels. But he's really the only guy I'm interested in. If I did play him with someone, it probably would be Debo because of what his role can be, right? It's like the path of unknown. His role could be where all of a sudden he is kind of the main guy where he's getting 6-7 catches, right? All of a sudden he's getting a couple carries where it's like near the goal line. Like his path to upside and of having a safe floor seemed like the best combo of any of these skill players for Washington. And I mean, you look at the New York side of the ball though, Felix.
Yeah, it's exciting.
Scatabo. I mean,
exciting whites this year.
Yes, very exciting. 5,100. Arizona State's getting beat down right now. They're missing some Scatabo right now. I can tell you that. Their run game's not working, and their pass game has been awful today. Yeah. They would prefer him at quarterback over Leave It right now. I'll tell you that. This is a team, though. I mean, Malik Neighbors is going to be their main target getter, and I don't think anyone else is going to rival anywhere near what he does in the reception, just in this game alone.
Yeah.
He obviously comes in a little bit banged up. However, I look at the rest of this Giants team. It's just Neighbors. Again, I can.
It's all Neighbors. All Neighbors.
I would be happy with Daniels and Neighbors from this game. And I'll give people Debo. Do you have any interest in any of the Giants not named Neighbors?
No, it's Neighbors all day, baby. It's going to be Neighbors 50%. Targets. It's going to be all Neighbors all day. The reason why he was sitting out is because he knew he's going to have a full workload. It's going to be him all day. And then the running back gets
banged up. Talk about a guy who gets banged up sometimes because its usage is so high, right? Where it's like also he'll get like 15 targets and he gets hit real hard over the middle one time. I think that was the game they did overseas.
I wouldn't be surprised if he rivals Brandon Marshall's 21 catch sometime this.
I love that. I love
sometime
that
this season.
I actually had Neighbors inside my top 7 in best ball. And, you can make the case, well, he doesn't have a quarterback. Well, who cares who's throwing it when you're getting 20 targets?
He can catch everything,
There's a realistic path. Again, I already said it before about Washington, right? They were really good last year at kind of extending drives. And extending drives is not really a good thing for their opponents in DFS. And it's not really a good thing for your own team when you're able to run the ball so well in 4 to 5 yard increments. They were the best team on third downs last year, I think, if I recall correctly. And that's not great for pace. And, when you're looking at going against a team like that, with the Giants going against the Commanders, it's tough. And that's why Neighbors, the only guy I really have any interest in at 7K because of the upside, just because, with the floor. The floor of targets is going to be there. The Russell Wilson's going to look his way because Russell Wilson knows if he doesn't play well, there's a hot shot rookie who, went to Ole Miss last year by the name of Jackson Dart. So I expect Neighbors to be fed healthy and often for this one. And I mean, other than that, I got nothing else to add. Do you like defenses at all?
Defense, the Giants defense potentially, as we talked about earlier, they revamped it. It looks pretty good.
Yeah.
The only thing, don't play any of the running backs. Tyrone Tracy has a big fumbling problem, and the coach Dayball has a very quick pull trigger on him. You could see some Singletary. You could see some Scatterbo. It's a risky prop. I wouldn't touch him in this first game. Just see how they play it. I don't know.
That's exactly it. So I love this case too. Like Russ knows that this is probably his last chance at a starting job. You'd think Neighbors isn't going to get fed from him. Like he's going to be like, screw it. Neighbors is down there.
He's down there somewhere.
He's down there somewhere. I really do think it's going to be kind of like that. And again, someone else mentioned too, like big slate. Yeah, don't like this game. Maybe a one-off. I think that's exactly the way to approach it. And someone mentioned that. Yeah, tough division game. I mean, that's the thing we got to kind of mention here. It's a division game, and those do play a lot uglier than most games, unless you're Justin Herbert. Stud. Absolute stud. Madison Beer. Absolute.
Hey,
what a lucky guy.
Game changer, Madison Beer. Game changer.
Yeah.
Went on a date with a leg sleeve? What are we doing here, buddy?
Taylor Swift. Who? Yeah, move over, Travis Kelce. We got a new pop star in the building. All right, so we got the Raiders taking on the Patriots here. Two teams with over a 20-point team total. A lot of buzz regarding Drake May and a lot of promise regarding this Patriots offense because of him. He was really good last year as a rookie, right? Didn't really get I thought last year was probably one of those years where I think Robert Kraft wishes he could just completely erase from memory. I feel like the coaching kind of sabotaged Drake May's development a little bit by playing Jacoby Brissett. I think that they drafted terribly. I mean, outside of Drake May, what was their wide receiver that they drafted? I think he's on the IR. I forgot it. Polk. I think it was probably, Jalen Polk. Obviously underwhelmed. They didn't really have any weapons at all. So Drake May's top target was Keyshawn Butte. So this year will definitely be different. They go out, they sign Stephon Diggs. They go out and they draft Travion Henderson. Again, Ohio State fan. I mean, what an electric player. He has his first touch in the preseason. Oh my God. He takes it to the house off a kickoff. Ramondre Stevenson's still there. You got the safety blanket of Hunter Henry, 3.9K though. Demario Douglas will primarily run it out the slot. What are you doing with this Patriots team that has a little bit of buzz throughout them with a win total? I think that might be like 8.5 or something like that. It kind of rose hard.
Dude, so much steam on this Patriots team this offseason. I mean, if you're in the best ball streets, Travion went from like the early 70s to 30s real quick after that run. And Diggs went from the hundreds to the 70s. I kind of stayed off of it, but I was taking a bunch of naked Drake May to that point, and I backfilled them with a bunch of Hunter Henry and some Kyle Williams, but I don't think Kyle Williams is going to come into the later part of the season. So for me in the Millie, I'm going to have a bunch of Drake May, Hunter Henry teams, and some Travion Henderson. Just sprinkle them in here and there. Who know? I don't know what the backfield split is going to be for them, but definitely going to have some Travion. Probably won't go with any Ramondre, but Drake May, Hunter Henry, or naked Drake May, use those legs. It's definitely a play.
Absolutely. And you kind of mentioned it too. Well, we don't really know what the running back situation is going to be like for New England, right? It could easily be a 50-50 with Ramondre. And all of a sudden, if you're playing Travion Henderson, you're like, why is this bum in the game, right? Because that's what I do in college football with, Florida's running back situation today. They were running Jackson over Bell there. And I'm sitting there with a really good lineup. I'm like, why is this bum in the game? And sure enough, Florida ends up losing that game. Go USF. Lynchy, if you're watching out there, happy for you. He's a USF guy. So, he's a big fan of USF beating Florida. But yeah, I mean, I think you're going to see a little bit of a 50-50 split. Let's see. AJ Worst says the same thing that I was kind of on. Stephon Diggs is washed. Again, AJ, I completely agree. We play wash guys throughout the first 4 weeks, though.
But he just came off the ACL. I think it's the opposite of Diggs this year.
I
think we play Diggs later in the season and discount what he does in the early part of the season. He's coming off that ACL. I think we discount it early in the season. If he doesn't do well at the early season, don't hold it against him. Let him get his 38-year-old self back to shape.
You're gonna make me look up his age.
No, he's like 32.
31.
Yeah,
that's crazy. I never would have thought. I feel like he's been in the league a decade.
Dude, I was in on his rookie year, so I'm like, and I don't remember what year it was, so I know he was old.
Damn, I remember the miracle.
That's Cooper Kupp age. That's all I'm putting out there.
Man, that Minnesota days feel like a decade ago, let alone like just being in the league a decade long. Wow. Yeah, choke hold him. No naked anyone in my Millie line except this one naked Daniel Stack Saver gives me no matter what. That's good stuff. I actually, it was just so funny because that'd be the one quarterback I feel like that's just like probable with. And it probably gives you the same thing overall. And this game is cheap on FanDuel. That's good to know. And we're a DraftKings company. Scan that barcode in the bottom right.
Yes.
Play pick 6. That FanDuel promo is pretty cool.
I've dabbled a little bit just because you can't lose. You literally can't lose. So.
I mean, I'm just saying, if you really wanted to try MME out, maybe you can buy a nice subscription, run for your sports, get some SaberSim access, run 150 lineups, and you get a net, whatever. If you do lose, you get a net of whatever you lose back in FanDuel credits. So, again, DraftKings company, DraftKings forever. That's a pretty sick promo. We got to acknowledge that. For those who don't know, that's a really good promo. But yeah, I mean, this is just situation. I do like what you said about Diggs. I completely kind of just omitted the part where he wasn't rested because he was old. He was rested because of an ACL throughout the preseason. Yeah. What that does though too is like it's just the Mario Douglas, I think, with a projection that clears my border, and that's just because it's the unknowingness, right? We don't know exactly. I mean, we don't know exactly who's going to step up and be the guy. I mean, Diggs will probably play a significant portion of the snaps, but other than Demario Douglas in the slot, it's a little bit of a mixed bag with the Patriots. I mean, are you going to be
Booty at? Am I missing? Is he out?
Who is it?
Booty?
I think so. My filters.
Okay.
If I click this, he is going to appear any second. So once I do this, and yeah, Keyshawn Boutte, his projections just real low.
Gotcha. He's so bad. Okay, got it.
Yeah. So Kyle Williams would be like the third highest projected. Food for thought. Demario Douglas could be the leading receiver in this game.
Yes,
I say that with a little bit of carefulness because Brock Bowers is on this slate, and I really love Brock Bowers as always, and I know Jacoby Myers. Demario Douglas in the slot sounds like he'll play like primarily the slot, which I love my slot guys, and he's 4,200. I'll play that, and I'll take a chance on him being like a leading receiver in this game. It sounds like you like him too.
Yeah, I wasn't high on my best ball. I like to shoot for super ceilings in best ball, but you can't deny that he's a dominant slot player for the Patriots like system. I mean, obviously new system coming in, but showed he can handle it, the workload and whatnot. He could easily be one of the top players in this game. Obviously, we got to be careful with Bowers being out there and just straight gronking it out there. But
I just out of habit, like just did this comment that I realized that I forgot about this Stephon Diggs on a boat.
Oh yeah, that was crazy.
I forgot about that. That was good stuff.
On camera, like he doesn't no care in the world, man.
He doesn't care. You got to respect it sometimes. I love this show on Saturday nights too because we get a lot of news and we get our guy Henry Segal noting that as of an hour ago, Christian Gonzalez is out.
Yes.
And obviously we're going to talk about the Raiders now. Christian Gonzalez is definitely the Patriots' best defender. I like this Raiders team on the road with Pete Carroll, in his team coaching debut, obviously been around forever. I'm like a little bit of a skeptic, but at the same time, like this does feel like a decent spot individually. I'm not probably going to stack Geno with like Bowers and Myers or whatever, but I do like one of Bowers or Myers separately. I don't think I'm going to be chasing my tail on Genty early on the season, though. What about you?
I'm in the same boat. I'm not pushing Genty out early. I'll have some Genty. Obviously, like when you 150, you have space for it. But I'm gonna have a lot of Brock Bowers with Geno stacks, and I'm gonna sprinkle in Dante Thornton Jr. because he in the preseason you saw it immediately. He got him like 3 targets deep. I think he's gonna be like a sneaky play if you need something cheap with high upside. He's the kind of guy that can give it to you, but it is risky because he's the benefactor of the Amari Cooper retiree. so random. Like they picked him up and he retires 2 weeks later. It's a wild 2 weeks there. Oh, you muted.
He wanted to retire a Raider. I mean, obviously that was the main thing. Definitely didn't want to play an NFL game.
he saw what was happening.
That's something. I don't know. It's like.
Yeah, you saw the guy that was showboating. He had like 80% or 90% Amari Cooper.
Oh, gosh.
So that's why we don't brag.
Buffalo wasn't going to bench him if he had any wicked talent left in the playoff run.
He was washed, man.
Yeah, he was not playing for that. And that, to me, said everything. Is that they kicked the tires on him. And they didn't like what they saw and didn't play him at all. Dante Thornton Jr. also, I mean, it's worth noting that Trey Tucker played a ton last year and did really nothing. And Dante Thornton's going to kind of I would say he could presume that role. I mean, obviously playing on the outside and being the primary guy where he just plays a ton. And Trey Tucker had a lot of deep throws toward him last year. And he could be a factor down the field with Dante, with Dante Thornton. I really do like that call at 3,600 in the millie where he will literally be less than 0.4% because he's just the best ball Colt hero at this point. No one really else.
He is the best ball guy. He did get comps. Like a lot of people comped him to Randy Moss. I will not be one of those people, but he did have like people were comping him to Randy Moss out there. Again, I'm not doing it, but I'm just saying if he has that ability, that'd be cool. If not, we're not going to have a lot of them, but we're going to have like 4 or 5 shares maybe across the 150.
Yeah. I like it. Anyone else you want to talk about, especially Bowers or Myers? What are you doing with those two? And Jim as well.
So in the millie, we want to shoot for the ceilings and or like people that can have high ceilings, I should say. And Jacoby Myers already kind of bad vibes, asking for the trade. I don't. They're not vibing together, so I don't think he's going to hit a ceiling week 1. But if you need a floor play, I guess you could put. If you're playing cash, yeah. But Millie Maker, I don't see Myers hitting the Millie Maker lineup optimal.
That's my kind of thing too. I don't like the rift that happened between him, Carroll, and Geno Smith or whatever. And I think he does feel like he's definitely second fiddle to Brock Bowers, which wake up, Jacoby. If you're a wide receiver 1 anywhere, things are not going good. All right. I'm sorry. I mean, if you're wide receiver 1, things are going bad in that offense. And that's not to say he's not a good receiver, but he's a really good option number 2. You're not an option number 1 guy. I do prefer Bowers overall. I've already said that I love paying up at tight end. This is going to be a spot where I think all 17 weeks, I'm going to try and be above all 18 weeks in the regular season. Well, 17 weeks that they play, I'm going to be above Brock Bowers on the field. He's the best. He has put up over 100 catches. He's got 30-point upside. How many tight ends have the 30-point upside? Him and McBride. I think that's the list. I mean, and Chigo Okonkwo. All right, so that's the list right there. I just think that it would be like Bowers, where I'm just kind of thinking where you don't even have to stack him ever. If he gets you 25, you're ahead of the field. If he gets you 20, you're ahead of the field. It doesn't take that large of a bar, and the upside's always going to be there in the millie. Definitely my favorite Raider, and honestly, he might be one of my only guys from the Raiders the more I look at this slate.
And like we said, there's so much value throughout this slate. It's okay to spend up here. Like if you want to get different, some people might be like, oh, I don't want to spend up a tight end. That's the prevailing thought through most of the fantasy community is to punt tight end. I think this week, with so much value, you take the top tier a little bit, here and there. Like the top defenses.
Is paying up a tight end to play? Yeah, I think it is. I personally think it is, and you'll see my my glaze for when do we talk about the Titans? You'll hear my glaze of Chigo Okonkwo a little bit later on, but I'm probably spending up at tight end.
I guess that okay. We'll wait.
Who did they say was being compared to Randy Moss? It was Dante Thornton Jr. We didn't say it. We didn't say it.
There are other people saying it, not us.
Yeah, that's my favorite thing to do. All right, let's move on from this game, and let's move on to another pair of divisional foes. We get the Tampa Bay Bucks taking on the Atlanta Falcons. This game has a lot of storylines around it. Michael Penix makes his first official start as the guy, where it's like coming into a season, there's no Kirk Cousins. There's no fear of Kirk Cousins taking the job, or there's no Kirk Cousins shadow. It's just like the fact that Penix is our guy, Kirk Cousins is the backup, and we're probably going to be selling him anyway by week 6 to our quarterback needy team who suffers an injury. Now, 2 running backs here project the highest. Bucky Irving, who is projected to be the main guy after being kind of in a split with Rachaad White his first 2 years. First year, and it does feel like Bucky Irving is going to kind of presume the role of top dog in that backfield. Bijan Robinson entering his 3rd year, a 20-point projection, was very consistent last year, Felix. Like, it never felt like he took a slate where it was just beyond repair, right? He didn't just nut for 35. No, it was the fact that he just kind of kept inside that 20, 25 range. Right? He was just so consistently good. He ended up being one of the top options over the course of the season. Does that win you a millie at 8K? Maybe not, but you have a ton of options here. And Baker Mayfield leading this passing attack. I mean, we can't ignore that. Emeka Egbuka, I think that's the guy I'm going to start with for you. I'm going to lead you in with some Emeka. You know why? Ohio State. But also, no Chris Godwin. Obviously, still hurt, dealing with an injury. But Egbuka, it was kind of expected to be a slow rise for him. But then you also have the injury to Jalen McMillan. He is going to be thrust into option number 2 in this passing attack. Lots to love about Emeka. He was a stud at Ohio State. He was great out of the slot. He kind of fits exactly where Chris Godwin was absolutely crushing at in the first half of the last season. 4,600. He'll probably get some double-digit ownership, Felix. What are you doing with my guy, Ibuka?
I mean, is he not the smash of the slate this week? He is the value that I talk about. He is the 4,600 for wide receiver number 2 for a pass-happy offense. Showed in the preseason, he's got it. Showed at Ohio State, he has it. Like, what is not to like about Ibuka? I mean, I'm a Michigan guy. Even I have to fawn over that talent. Ibuka's the man. And if you're not on the train early, this is probably the lowest price he will have attached to his name for the rest of his career. It is going to skyrocket after this week. I think this might be a shootout. I was listening to other RPS shows this week. There was a little bit of a shade thrown at this game. It's not gonna be a fun game. I think this game could be a shootout. The defenses aren't elite on either side. Quarterback play the last year was pretty high level. Penix at the last, maybe I just had Penix versus the Panthers, and that wasn't a great defense in my head, and they popped off last year. So I think this could be a shootout, and I'm gonna be all over this game.
I think it is worth noting that obviously a division game, right? It's one of those things, but the Bucs threw the ball so much last year. Those games could really explode. I mean, there were some games where it kind of underwhelmed. Don't get me wrong. That happens with every NFL team. Even the Bengals had games where it was 13-7 or whatever. And we know how bad their defense was. The path to beating the Bucs, and this is kind of what makes their game so juicy, was always trying to avoid the interior, right? Where you're just trying to, you couldn't run the ball against them ever. And you had to throw the ball against them to really be effective. And it kind of goes into the point where games were kind of not slowed down, but sped up to a degree because more incompletions, more clock stoppages, more plays being made. And it kind of goes case in point too, where the Bucs were such a pass-happy team where, it's kind of a sneaky thing where it's also a dome. I'm with you. I like this game overall. Penix getting a second-year start. I'm glad he kind of got to dip his toes in the water toward the end of last year. Played okay. I mean, he didn't put any fear in me, right? Where I'm like, oh man, I don't think he's going to be that good.
Right.
I think that it was a very positive experience for him overall, and I think he kind of comes into this season where he's got Drake London as the main guy. He's got an elite tight end in Kyle Pitts. We got a. I mean, it's true that not Kyle Pitts, but you do have a lot of momentum. And the one thing that you can say about them, though, and this is where I always said it too. Bijan Robinson, especially with Christian McCaffrey's calf not existing, is the best pass catching back in the NFC.
Yeah, and I like to target home running backs. The first bet I made this week was Bijan Robinson 2 tutties, and I just think that they're going to be. This is going to be a high scoring game, and he's good in the pass game and the run game. How do you stop him? I mean, Algiers there, so that's how they stop him by taking him off the field for some reason. But Algiers not bad himself, but he's not. I wish they would stop doing that. That's the only thing I wish.
Yeah, and that's the problem, right? It's always a 67-33 type split with Robinson. You're never going to get that true bell cow role with him. Yeah, Mooney here is still projected, obviously, and stuff too. I just didn't scroll down far enough there. But yeah, I mean, I think the Pitts exposure is interesting. Big Rob. I'm not doing it. No, I'm not doing it. I talked a big game, but yeah,
I'll have it.
I like it. But yeah, it's going to take a lot of faith in me to click that button. I don't think I can make it for him.
I think I'm going to overstack this game on both sides, just in general. Just have a full game stacks on this game. I think how a couple years ago, I think it was Lions Seahawks.
Yep.
And they overstacked it. That was the Millie win. I think that's something we can look at. I'm going to be looking at here in this game.
I love that, especially with the Millie up top. You got Bijan and Buka mini stacks. I love that path too. And that's the thing. Yeah. For even though the Bucs are a really tough team to run against, it is ultimately with his pass catching floor that really kind of excels him. And that's why he is so consistent. That's why he was so consistent last year, was because of his ability to get 5 to 7 catches in games where he wasn't playing that well. And though they use him at a 67% clip, Felix, they do get the ball to him in space. They do prioritize getting him the rock. And I can appreciate the coaching staff in that sense and trying to keep him fresh for a 17-game season, because the NFL is going to add an 18th game, and making guys play on Wednesdays, Tuesdays, or whatever. It's sickening. The NFL product is full of greed, but keep my guy Bijan healthy. That's all I can ask. Anyone else that you wanted to mention from this game? Because obviously there's a ton of options. Like Buka is the consensus number one for us. Is Bijan your number two as well? Because he's my number two in this game.
Yes. Yes. Bijan and Drake London are the top plays from this game. Or I'm sorry, Ibuka, Bijan are top 2 plays, but pretty close is Drake London.
Okay, yeah, make the case for Drake London here because
so
it's an awkward price, 6,500.
Exactly. He's right at the second tier. I like to tier off my players at every 8, and he's the top tier of the second 8. So he's going to be kind of be missed by the people that want to spend up because they're going to have so much money from Ibuka. May not game stack. They may not be proficient in game stacking, but he might get overlooked because the top 8 are ahead of him. He's the only person that Penix is going to have eyes for. Don't get me wrong, Darnell Mooney, he's coming off an injury. He may not be fully up to speed. It's one of those plays where I want as much of Drake London I can get as well. It's just there's nothing on the other side that's saying that they're going to stop him. And they keep saying he's going to have all the work. I mean, who are they? Pitts is not. He's going to get like his little share, but it's not anything exciting.
I like that case. I like that case made for him. And obviously, I've always said that you wanted to attack the wide receivers against the Bucs, and I'm on board with that. I do think that you can do some Baker stacks, Baker, where maybe you can even do a double with like Buka and whoever else you want to add, or maybe you can do it with Penix. Do a Penix, Bijan stack with Drake London, obviously on the same side, and then you got a Buka run back. You got some fun stacks that are 3-1. And if people aren't going to be high on this game, I'll be high on them for them. Like you said, you're going to have a lot of pieces from this game. Doesn't look like it's going to have a ton of ownership. I'm okay doing that, Felix. I'm arm in arm with you there. I'll say that. Let's move on. Battle of Ohio. The best matchup in the NFL here. The Bengals taking on the Cleveland Browns. If you are wondering, man, who is starting at quarterback for the Cleveland Browns? I've been out of the loop for so long. Well, don't worry. Joe Flacco is here, baby. But the worst part about it, he's damn viable, man. He's under 5K going against a defense that, let's put it this way. I'm a Bengals fan, right? Lived in Cincinnati area my whole life. That defense was very bad last year. They got rid of Lou Anarumo, right? But they bring in Al Golden, stud, Notre Dame, going to change this defense. What do they do in the preseason games? They get murdered. The Eagles wreck them. The Washington starting unit and second string wrecked them. However, there's a lot of promise. There's a lot of hope. Al Golden's saying, we got what we want. We're going to be a better defense this year than we were last year. That said, 4,900, 5,400, 4,700. These prices on the Browns are cheap. Felix, what are you doing with Cleveland?
With Cleveland? Okay. So I'm playing some Judy and Njoku, and then I'm kind of fading the running backs. Dylan Sampson is the only one that's kind of promising. If you want to punt running back, that's about it. I'm excited to talk the other side, but yeah, Flacco's viable. He's a flyer. He's so cheap. You can stack everything from the Bengals side if you want to have it. But if you absolutely need the cheapest quarterback to fit all the rest of the good plays, I get it. It makes sense.
Yeah, I'm like looking at that too because I do think that they kind of come in extremely high owned, and Njoku and Judy especially. Njoku is the one where someone mentioned earlier in the chat too. Harold Fannin.
Harold Fannin. Yeah. He's gonna be playing the slot for them. It's gonna be weird. Yeah.
So this is the thing with it. A really good tight end. They're going to be rerunning a lot of 2 tight end sets, but obviously, if you watch Fannin at all, Bowling Green, Maction, baby, the Mac. Good stuff. I mean, it sounds like, and they rested him too. Like it was a no doubt that he was going to be a part of this offense to some degree. It might not be a significant portion, but in reality, it's going to be Tillman and Judy and Njoku kind of rolling out there probably almost 100% of the time. Jamari Thrash getting rolled out there. Then it'll be kind of a split between like Thrash and Fannin in terms of who's getting a significant portion of that personnel out there, whether it's 2 tight ends or 3 wide receivers. And Fannin can be a matchup nightmare. The Bengals have never defended tight ends well. So as long as I have lived, I've watched Ray Maluga not be able to defend a play-action boot against Mark Sanchez so often. And it's the same damn thing every year. I watched like Jermaine Pratt. I watched, who was it? It was Logan Wilson in the Super Bowl. That was a wide receiver.
As a Chargers fan, I feel your pain. We've been playing KC tight ends for my entire life. It's terrible.
Kelsey, that's fluke touchdown.
Kelsey, Gonzalez. It's my whole life, man. I get it.
And that's the thing. I'm kind of on board with these individual pieces for Cleveland. I think Flacco makes sense in a large stack. The same thing is like, realistically, I think the Bengals defense has a much better shot of improving than they do of staying completely crap because they made a lot of changes. And I don't want to assume the same thing that happened in 2024 is going to happen here. I don't want to utilize preseason data because, look, outside of snap counts and maybe plans for regular players where it's like, oh, yeah, he was using the slot 100% of the time. But yeah, that's good stuff. That's good info. As far as when a team performance, I mean, I remember when Andy Dalton and AJ Green, threw a pick on their very first play of preseason football. And it's like, oh man, they're going to be awful. And sure enough, they make the playoffs. Like, I don't want to ever make my judgments based on how a team looks in the preseason on defense. I think the Bengals have a better shot of improving. Does that mean to say that they're going to be average or above average? No, they're just not going to be completely crap. And that's why these one-offs of Judy and Njoku, and even like a guy like Tillman at 4,400 or Fannin, where if you're just talking about a punt, I'm on board with. As far as stacking Flacco, probably not. And I'm with you. The running game doesn't exist to me for Cleveland. Anything? So, Bengals time. It's
got to be Bengals. I'm over the Browns. They're okay. They're okay.
Talk to me about, obviously, Jamar Chase, Joe Burrow, Chase Brown, the future MVP of this league, Joe Burrow, by the way. T. Higgins, 6,400. It's a main set of 4 guys. And for those who don't know, I mean, Yoshbas has taken an absolute leap, it sounds like, throughout training camp. And Mike Gesicki was nursing a hamstring injury, but he's going to be the primary slot guy for this team. And then you're going to have your regular mishmash of tight ends with Drew Sample, Tanner Hudson, and whoever else will get those kind of snaps. Felix, look at that ownership.
It's like, can you play it with that much ownership? You absolutely can, because he absolutely can go off on this team. And first week of the season, you have a lot of values. One, again, like what I said, why have all that value if you can't spend up? Clearly, everybody else is thinking that too. But how do you pass up on Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase? Like, it's the easiest smash of the week. I have the sneaky play, not sneaky play, but it might be a terrible play. But I am paying up for the Bengals defense.
I love that. Okay.
It's unique. It's a pocket quarterback, a 40-year-old quarterback. It's not like he's an amazing. He was an elite quarterback back in the day, but I'm playing the Bengals defense. I pretty much should have like 60 of the hand builds I've made so far. Maybe the Sabres can even me out a little bit, but yeah, it's my favorite play. But one of my favorite defensive play on this slate.
Yeah, no, I like that, because I do think, again, a lot of people are going to be disrespecting. You're going to have a very chalk Brown stacks, right? Not to say like Flacco's going to be overly owned, but you're going to have Njoku and Judy really be kind of high owned as well for a 12-game slate. And I love that call, Felix. I love that. 3,600. Again, are you going out of your way to click the Bengals defense? No, but you're going to let that happen. You're going to bump them up, and you're going to make sure that you're going to get some of them and get over the field. And when they house a Joe Flacco interception to the surprise of no one, all of a sudden you hear the Cleveland crowd chanting Shedeur Sanders. I can already envision it right now.
Yeah, I can definitely see that.
Yeah, they're chanting for Shedeur Sanders and all that. The team is broken, everything around it. Bengals win 38-3.
I think a different way to play it than everybody else playing Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, is to play Chase Brown in the defense. Yeah. The classic running back with defensive play.
Haraz asked, are you prioritizing any pass catchers / run backs with Flacco if clicking him and you prefer to run him naked? He's the one quarterback I absolutely wouldn't run naked here, Haraz. Even though the price is cheap, unless you're doing like cash games where you absolutely need a 4,900 quarterback, which I think there's going to be better options where I don't think you have to punt quarterback at all. You stack him 100%, maybe a double stack, I think is the minimum for Flacco. And you don't have to get super chalky with Njoku and Judy in the same build with Flacco, even though that would probably be the most optimal stack. You do have options like Tillman and Fannin if you really want to mix it up. So, but yeah, I would definitely stack him if playing Joe Flacco at all. AJ Ware says, I'm a Bengals fan like Rubio. You have lost your marbles if you consider hanging out from DFS. They're absolute cheeks. Flacco. That's a true Bengals fan there, right? Because obviously no confidence. That's a true Bengals fan. He knows we've been burned too many times. But yeah, I'm with you though, Felix. It's a lot of
it's a leverage against the field. Everybody's been watching them play. I just think with Trey Hendrickson's out there and Hubbard, they brought back the safety. I can't remember his name. Is it Hill?
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure they brought him back.
Taylor Britt. Taylor Britt Hill. Okay. They brought back. Yeah, it's like the famous Jim Valvano quote. He took over his first job. He took over a team that won one game the previous year, and he said, "Yeah, good news. Everyone's coming back." He's like, "Oh yeah, with no thumbs. Yeah, he's coming back playing center for us." Like, yeah, is that a good thing that everyone's coming back? Probably not. Hey, everyone's coming back. So
Yes.
That's a great one. Let's go ahead and move on from this game. We were both high on the Bengals as well, and then individual pieces for the Browns, and maybe not so much on Flacco. I am with you. I'm paying up for Jamar Chase. I mean, that's sad. And I had enough to where I was paying up for. So when I built this holder like a month ago, right? And this was just because I had tickets to contest from Best Ball or whatever. I think like you entered a certain amount, you got like Best Ball ticket. I'm like, I'll just throw this in. I was like clicking Christian McCaffrey and stuff. So I know I definitely have the space to spend up for Jamar Chase. We're not clicking Christian McCaffrey today. I can tell you that. All right. You talk about two teams with probably the most question marks in the league around them, especially the Dolphins. A lot of people are pegging the Dolphins to be really bad. Tyreek Hill situation is something else. I don't really know what to think with that situation. It's a mess. I think the locker room is a little bit of a mess. I don't think Tua and Tyreek are on the same page. I don't think Mike McDaniel is on the same page as Tyreek Hill. I don't think Devon Achane is completely healthy. I don't know what to expect from this Dolphins offense, but you know what everyone else is thinking is the same thing. I don't think Achane comes in at this ownership. I think it'll be much lower just because you don't. I feel like there's a severe lack of buzz regarding this Dolphins team where it might be a decent total. It might be in a dome, Lucas Oil Stadium. Overall, like nothing's clicking for me on this Dolphins side. And if I did have to make a decision, Felix, I think Jalen Waddle, a rebound year, is very much in the cards. And I will buy some Jalen Waddle this week. But as far as the other Dolphins go, I don't know. What do you think?
So I'm stacking a lot of the Colts side with a couple of bringbacks from the Dolphins. I try to avoid personally a lot of pocket quarterbacks unless I think they're elite, and Tua is one of those guys. And so I'm getting a couple pieces here and there, but it's more about the bringbacks in that game if I want to game stack it. I like Devon Achane. I also agree. I don't with that Q tag that was on him. If the people who made their lineups before the Q tag went away, I think they're not going to have him in there. Waddle, yes, I'm on that same page. I think with Jonnu Smith gone, the short plays are going to go to Waddle and Achane. I don't see anybody else taking those away. And if there's an Antonio Brown type-esque play where he just deuces out, it will be Hill in the middle of the game.
I actually think that's like very much in the cards this season.
I think he posted a picture of himself doing it.
Yeah, see that's just crazy. I know what was it said. Like I think Tua early on in the training camp said the relationship still hasn't healed. You can't just say stuff and expect like everything to return to normal or something like that. I'm selling. I'm just selling a Tyreek. I'm buying all Waddle. I think Waddle is an extremely talented wide receiver who last year was dealt a very bad hand. If he sucks this year, I'll fold my cards. Same. But I think Waddle is a seriously talented wide receiver, and last year didn't reflect his performance at all. And the mishmash at quarterback, the mishmash with Tua's health, that's all going to be solved here. Jalen Waddle is our guy, Felix. We love Jalen Waddle. The Jonnu Smith situation is interesting. Darren Waller will not play this week. He got downgraded to doubtful. Not expecting him to be in. My statuses aren't showing up. So that is new. I did notice that earlier on. Someone asked about Mooney. I thought there was a questionable time. I'm like, why isn't it there? But yeah, I don't expect Waller to play. Case in point, too, if there was a guy who had benefited, I could see it like being like a Malik Washington or a Nick Westbrook. But that's really thin. Even like on a 12-game slate, that's like the showdown plays that I love.
Right.
Like, stuff. And
you don't want to get too cute. That's how I always preach to myself. When I'm making lineups, don't get too cute because I love Ollie Gordon, but he's not a play. He's not a play here. That's getting too cute. You want to stick to what is actually going to happen majority of the time. Yeah,
if you got a 0.01% touchdown, you can fake that. That's all good. All right, man. Felix, let's talk about your Colts side. You mentioned stacking them up. Does that mean you are a believer in Daniel Jones?
No, I'm just super high on JT. He is my favorite play of the running backs. He is
love
it. Right, him and Bijan. I might even have him on the same team a whole bunch. It's just I feel like home. I like to have the home favorites running back, and he's my favorite play from this game in general. I am getting a lot of Tyler Warren in mind. I think Daniel Jones had nothing but big old eyes for Tyler out there. Downs, Pittman, they can have explosive games. They're both explosive players, but they always get nicked up, and I'm trying not to have my my previous thoughts about them carry over, but they just constantly get hurt. Alec Pierce is a high flyer. Like DJ isn't out of the question of getting played. That's for sure. Is my favorite play? No, but I will have some.
Yeah, he's 5,100, and we were just talking about Flacco.
Yeah,
and I don't know how owned these cheap quarterbacks are going to be in the end all be all. You're looking at like 20% combined ownership for Flacco and Jones, which kind of sounds right when you like kind of like zoom out, where it's like, you know, I think Flacco could be like 10 or 11. I think Jones could be 8 or 9. I mean it's there. I mean, look, the Dolphins weren't anything special. They're nothing to fear. They got rid of some talented options as well, and Felix, like, I like what you said. And here's the thing about Tyler Warren, right? He's just an absolute stud. Penn State standout guy there, did everything. He was able to run the ball. He was able to catch the ball. He was able to play in the backfield. Like, Tyler Warren's a stud. He also was just by far the tight end one. And the thing with this is we haven't had a tight end one in Indianapolis since who? Like what? Dallas Clark? Like
Dallas Clark.
Yeah, like he's going to be a true tight end one. He's going to play a significant portion of the snaps. Brock Bowers' rookie season was incredible. I'm not going to compare anyone to that rookie season or subject that to the comparison, but I think you could easily see 80 catches for a guy like Tyler Warren, which would be 80% of the output of what of what Brock Bowers had, which is a great year.
I wouldn't even put it past the Colts to use him in the tush push. Shane Steichen, former Philadelphia's offense coordinator, like why not? You know, because he can do everything. He is a all-purpose football player. Like he is. I
love that feeling because he did take some stats. We saw with Conklin.
Not Taysom Hill, but like very good at in the running back position.
Watching the Chargers game, Tyler Conklin got the tush push, or not really a tush push, but you got they were in the shotgun. Kurt Warner, bless his heart, did not have a great announcing game, I'll say it, but he was like, I don't get why you're in shotgun here. And sure enough, Conklin runs out right underneath the center and does it. Yeah. I love that because you're exactly right when you say it. When you think of football player, Tyler Warren's got to be one of the first guys up there where it's just a guy who can do it all. And that might not happen this week, but
it's definitely going to happen at least once. I wouldn't be surprised if he's like the quickest person to throw a pass, run and catch a pass for a touchdown. Wouldn't be surprised if he's the first person to do that.
I would love that. Josh Downs is actually my preferred wide receiver here over Michael Pittman personally. Good game environment, right? Or it's just like, the Colts have, at home, if Daniel Jones clicks at all, they have potential for points, but I'm with you. JT is definitely the best play on the Colts. Warren, I think Warren could be just better than Downs and Pittman straight up over the year. I mean, that's going to be a really interesting thing. But I think when the season's said and done, you could reverse, in order, reverse their projections, and Warren would be projected 12 on a regular basis.
Warren could easily put Downs and Pittman into the aspect of how you look at the Raiders, where Downs is all of a sudden Demario Douglas or Jacoby Myers and Pittman's whoever else is on the Raiders.
yeah. Dante Thornton.
Dante Thornton.
Yeah, it's like, I'm with you. We'll go ahead and move on from this game. We got the 4:00 games remaining after this one. We are running high on time. We are, 10:09. This will be a longer show for the first one because I am taking our time. We're having a great time as well.
And in the future weeks, there will be less games, so it'll be longer.
Exactly. And we also have shorter games to talk about, like the Steelers and Jets.
Yeah.
All right. So Justin Fields gets his revenge game, which, you know what? This is where I extend the show because then I just come in. He should not have been benched last year, and he should be pissed at Tomlin. He should be pissed at the Steelers. And I hope he comes out and kicks ass. You know why? Ohio State, baby. And he's got Garrett Wilson there at 6,300. I'm very, very high on Garrett Wilson this year. Problem is the Steelers defense pretty solid. They just signed Hayward. Is Hayward going to give it a go tomorrow, right?
He'll be fine. Yeah,
he'll be fine to go. Outside of those two, Jets defense, and that's it. I'm only on the Jets defense because on the other side of the ball, Felix, we know who's there. It's Aaron Rodgers. But talk to me about the Jets first. Is it just Fields, Wilson, and the defense for you, or are you tempting fate with like a Breece Hall or a Braylon Allen?
I was going to say, I will be sprinkling Breece Hall. I won't touch Braylon Allen. I love Braylon Allen. He's one of my higher owned pieces in best ball. It's a best ball. Hope for he takes later in the season. He takes over because they traded Breece Hall. Right now, we're talking about Fields, Wilson, Jets defense, sprinkle, and some Breece Hall. Our boy JSU loves Mason Taylor. I want to see it before I believe it at all.
I'm with you 100%.
Yeah.
It's cool the Jets for weeks 1 and 2, but season long, he does sound like he will be the guy over the course of the season, which that's the last pick in the draft. For most of the year for best ball, that was great.
Yeah.
It's like, Breece Hall going to have a little bit of interest from you. 6,400, not a bad tag at all. But yeah, I mean, you're not going to see much else to really talk about with the team with an 18-point total in the Sims on Sabres, right?
It's terrible. Yeah, it's not.
Can you play Fields naked? Absolutely. Defense only. Next. Yeah, I like these comments. But hey, we still have the other side of the ball to talk about. And Aaron Rodgers just licking his lips talking about how he's going to beat the Jets here. He wants his revenge. Jets fans hate him. He hates Jets fans. That's what this sounds like. He hates the staff. He hates the organization. He's out for blood. My big take on the year was Caleb Johnson was a subpar pick in best ball because Jaylen Warren is going to be the main guy this season, at least for the first half of the year, especially. But he'll be the main pass catching guy too. And Aaron Rodgers loves his checkdowns, and you saw it last year. They love their checkdowns. Jaylen Warren could be effective as a floor play at any time, but at 5,200, I'm kind of a little bit interested. It's like one of those things where, look, I like Fields and Wilson. They're okay. I like Warren. He's okay. I'm not going to get carried away at all with any of these pieces in the game. No. The defense was probably the highest owned pieces from my end. Felix, same way, right? Is it
same? Yeah. Get a little bit of Warren, maybe like 2, like limit your Warren shares. It's not going to be
touchdown. You could be looking at 20. Like that's the problem with him. Is like he could easily have 5 catches, 50 yards, 40 yards rushing, and like a touchdown.
Yeah.
It's just like one of those random games.
Yeah, it's very low potential. I'm going to sprinkle in some DK Metcalf, but that's because of my own best ball shares. I did go overweight on DK Metcalf just because he's Aaron Rodgers number 1. I like to have his number 1 at receiver personally, but I'm not going to go overweight. Kenneth Gainwell, this is Arthur Smith offense. It's not great. It's not a great offense. It's going to get shared with everybody if it does get to going at all.
Yeah, you're exactly right. It's Arthur Smith masterclass here. Outside wide receivers against the Jets were one of the worst matchups over the course of the last 2 seasons as well. Didn't DJ Reed? Hold on, what was the situation with DJ Reed? That was one thing. He's on the Lions now, so they did lose their CB2, which a lot of talk about Sauce Gardner being one of the best. DJ Reed was pretty damn good in his own right, so you could see this Jets defense kind of dip a little bit on the outside. But who's the wide receiver to take advantage of that for the Steelers?
Roman Wilson, Michigan guy.
Just put it out there. You got some studs at wide receiver too. Yeah,
I'm just gonna throw it out there. Like he had a pretty good offseason. They did say he's gonna get worked in. But
I respect that.
Billy Maker.
I've been slobbering over Ohio State the entire time. 70 to nothing.
We don't got much right now, but I got my Roman Wilson.
Hey, you got to change the national title too. Like,
we got one. We got one.
Hey, SEC fans not going to be tasting one for a while. I'll say it.
That's right.
Looks like. Okay. Let's move on to the 49ers and the Seahawks here. I'm going to start with the 49ers here, Felix, because there's one major concern. Right? That's one, Christian McCaffrey's calf. Personally, I'm not clicking his butt tomorrow because I don't know what is wrong with him. It's the same thing as last year. He looked bad. He looked bad in his return last year. Because you know what? The 49ers are saying he's going to be a full go. He's going to be a full go. And I got super excited. It was late on in the year. I'm like, I'm clicking Christian McCaffrey. And he just sucked for Christian McCaffrey standards.
Yeah.
I'm not. If his calf is flaring up 2 days before the season starts, I'm not clicking him. I'm done playing. I played the game last year. I lost. I'm done, Felix. I'm kaput. I'm going to George Kittle. I'm going to Ricky Pearsall.
Yes.
Yes. You're on the same boat.
I'm on the exact same boat. I'm sorry, Christian McCaffrey, if you hear this, which you'll never know. Dude, I'm out. You have, if this is the second year where I got bamboozled by you, touche, because I did. But in best ball, you're not going to take it out on me on my DFS teams. It is all George Kittle and Ricky Pearsall tomorrow.
And that's the problem. It's like, fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, shame on you. Fool me 3 times, can't get fooled again, right? Like that's just the reality of it. This is like the 3rd time. It's like, you got fiddled with it in best ball last year coming into the season. It's not going to be a big deal. You got fiddled with it, or he's going to be healthy at the mid-season point. And then you're kind of getting fiddled with it. Here, this is the 3rd time. I'm done. I'm done. He's off the board. Ricky Pearsall, wide receiver 1. Jawan Jennings acting. I don't know. I thought he was a little bit entitled. I thought it was a good faith extension.
6-year late breakout. No, I'm good.
Yeah. Well, at the point, I thought it was one of those extensions. He had a really good Super Bowl, right? Where it was like, they kind of gave him one of those good faith where he had a really good Super Bowl game. You're like, oh man, they extended him. That's kind of a lot of money for Tawan Jennings. He did okay last year, but then he wants more money and derails his offseason. That's my problem. I don't like guys who derail their offseason all that much. And I'm selling on Juwan. That's why we're going to be high on George Kittle and Pearsall, it sounds like. And they're going to be their top 2 target guys. And if Christian McCaffrey's not healthy, newsflash, Brock Purdy, he can produce in an offense, and they're going to be good. I just think that. What do you think?
Okay, so I'm very narrative driven. I love narrative streets. I was breakfast with Cooper Kupp and Matthew Stafford. I was all about that narrative.
Oh yeah,
Ricky Pearsall and Brock Purdy. There's a YouTube short saying how much he loves Ricky Pearsall and how he would bother him after practice to get things right. Like that dude is up that guy's butt. This could be a Julian Edelman type feel for Brock Purdy. Like
I love
it could
that.
be. Yeah, I'm all about that narrative street. Ricky Pearsall, part of the exciting whites that I have stacked on my best ball teams this year, and I love Ricky Pearsall. I have 35% Ricky Pearsall.
That's the type of narratives that people watch for, Felix. So I'm now fully on board, baby. If he didn't get shot in the chest last year, he would have been a damn good play. And you know what? This year, he didn't get shot in the chest. All right, and he moved up the depth chart a little bit. Like, come on now, let's go. All right? We're ready. We're back from Ricky Pearsall, baby. I love it. New look, Seattle Seahawks, and by new look, I mean they dropped some old dead weight. That dead weight being DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett. They brought in some fresh Cooper Kupp, who maybe he's having breakfast with Sam Darnold. Who knows, right? But Sam Darnold comes in as a quarterback over Geno Smith. Your mainstays are Jackson Smith and Jigba, Ohio State. You got Kenneth Walker III, who has been dealing with health issues over the last few seasons. Since he entered the league, I should say. And last year was a really rough year for him in particular. Whenever he was healthy, though, he produced. And he didn't really have a healthy training camp, and that's the concern kind of around him. I think Jackson Smith and Jigba has a chance to lead the league in receptions this year. That's my bold take on this offense, Felix. Outside of that, I'm a little bit skeptical of anything else. And why am I so high on Jackson Smith and Jigba? Look at the options around him. A wash Cooper Kupp, rookie tight end, A.J. Barner, sophomore season tight end. I think there's a decent chance he gets a ton of targets fed his way, especially if I think they're going to be in trail scripts.
I like the bold call. I like it. Except Cooper Kupp is there. My guy, the guy won me $1 million. The guy won me $1 million. Part of the exciting whites. He had a new quarterback, so we don't know if he's going to have the same feel with JSN, which has me a little bit nervous. The vet Cooper Kupp coming in, he might just easily get together with him, mesh well. It could be he takes the backseat earlier on with JSN, but easily can storm the castle and take over towards the end of the season. I love Kenneth Walker this year too in this run game that was like the leading offense the first 2 weeks of the season last year. I think it fits Kenneth Walker's run game, like run style, really well. I think this could be a really fun game to could be a potential shootout. It depends if teams he is playing.
Look at the ownership. Look at the ownership on Seattle. No double-digit ownership guys. Look over to the 49ers side of the ball. Ignore McCaffrey. I think that speaks for
ignore
McCaffrey. And then you got like 16 for Kittle. You got under 10 for Pearsall. I think I would imagine it'll be closer to like 13, 14 for Pearsall. 6-7 for Jennings. I made 6-7. But like it is one of those things where I kind of look at it there, Felix, where sounds like we're kind of hand in hand here a little bit. I do kind of like this game. And you mentioned with Kenneth Walker, if he is healthy, he's the clear number one in this offense. And look, they changed a lot. They obviously changed a lot. So what happens last year will definitely not be the same. But it's like Kenneth Walker, if you were to get 70% of the touches here, 5,900, that's a steal. It's always going to be a steal. And you mentioned, a great scheme for him, a great play style for him. I'm with you, Felix. Anything else to add about it?
It's just sometimes you have to shift your narrative about some of these teams that were bad or not as doing as well as you think. There's going to be surprises. It's not going to be the same teams that did well last year. They're going to do well this year. And I think the Seahawks might show, hey, we're here to play this year. And I think they're one of the surprise teams of the year.
I like it. We have a quick question here, too. We can answer this one because we're about to talk about the Rams here in a second. But we're on the Kenneth Walker piece now. Kenneth Walker or Devontae Adams straight up?
For the flex spot, I'm assuming that's how we're going to think about it. If it's DK, I'm playing Kenneth Walker, but Devontae Adams is not a bad play. I'm kind of out on Devontae Adams.
Until Kenneth Walker starts getting rolled out for multiple games in a row, I think you ride him a little bit.
Yeah.
Devontae Adams in a new role, wide receiver number 2. I mean, Puka's there. So I think there's more faith in Kenneth Walker producing at home than Devontae introducing himself into a new offense with Stafford, who probably didn't get much chemistry with over the first few weeks of training.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on. Oh, my gosh. Talk about a bad team total for the Titans here. They're going into Denver. Denver's defense is projected to be one of the better ones of the league. Bo Nix, I was wrong about him. I guess it's just about those 25-year-old rookies. Those sixth-year seniors come out of college pretty strong. He did okay last year. Problem is, I think Sean Payton's going to play a little bit of games at running back. Like RJ Harvey is going to be one of those guys where he's clearly the most talented back, but does he get more than 40% of the touches when he's on the field? Or, does he see the field more than 40% of the time? I think that's up in the air. I don't think that's certain. They signed J.K. Dobbins. I think he'll definitely have a factor early on in the season. Cortland Sutton was a man amongst boys. I like him, but 6K is like one of those price tags where you're like, and if anyone can spread it around in this league, it's a Sean Payton-led offense where you just have 10 guys with 1 to 2 catches, and then you have Sutton with 5 catches all of a sudden. And sure enough, Bo Nix has 25 completions, but no one's gone off. What are you doing with the Broncos here?
I'm going to single stack it here and there.
Yeah.
There's one player that I'm excited to play. Just because he was my favorite play in best ball. I probably, am probably going overboard, and I probably shouldn't play him. But it's Pat the Fat Bryant, and he was my favorite play of the offseason. I don't know though. I don't think I should play him this early in the season, but something tells me maybe he has an early game that kind of surprises people. I think he's at right over min salary. Other than that, single stack every one of these guys. The running back room is kind of a mess. It's all good, but it's kind of a mess. I don't know if it's optimal for the Millie Maker, so I'm kind of avoiding it. But it's all good.
No, it's RJ Harvey, right, by a mile. You're not playing really, and you would be taking the risk on RJ Harvey in particular, right, where he has 50% of the snaps, but he takes those 12 touches to the house 2 or 3 times.
Right. Yeah. I just don't. I don't know. Not that the Titans defense is pretty not great, let's just say.
Yep.
And I don't know. I really don't want anything out of the running back room, but if I'm a touch, I'm going to single stack because just hope that I get the wide receiver that he's using that game. Yep. So it might be Sutton, it might be Ingram. I always like to play. I don't know if this is just. I'll always play the tight ends against the Titans, which is just something I've been doing for years. So it's nothing. I think they actually did pretty well against tight ends last year, but I still do it.
Well, speaking of tight ends here, I do want to talk about one in particular, and it is Chig Okonkwo. But first, we have a couple questions to get to here. Not questions, but comments that I did want to mention. Someone mentioned, where is the is it Kenneth? Hello, guys. Kenneth Walker. Yeah, that's who we were talking about. That Puka or Devontae? Puka by a mile. I mean,
Puka. Yeah.
Historical rookie season. Dealt with injuries last year.
While he's healthy,
he's incredibly strong. Puka is top 10. He's top 10, and Devontae Adams is not.
If healthy, you play Puka. It's not even a question. Yeah,
100%. And when Devontae Adams does better, you can comment us in you can put in the comments, screw you guys, and we'll take that. But hey, we're going to win that battle 12 out of 17 times. But that would be a fun one here. Titans defense, you like them? I think it'll be low scoring according to Sky. I like that. I can get on board with cheap defenses at 2,200. You're not going to hear an argument from me. Someone mentioned you always play Sean Payton against rookie quarterbacks, and that's what we're going to get to right now. You play the Broncos defense against maybe a Cam Ward here who, he'll rely on Ridley a little bit. You get Tony Pollard who without, Tyjae Spears. And really it's just kind of a lot of afterthoughts for me. Calvin Ridley's okay, but you get one of the toughest matchups in the league against Surtain. To me, I think it's going to be a lot of Chig Okonkwo over the middle. And Chig is going to be the main tight end. And he wasn't the main tight end until the end of last season. and you got a much better upgrade at the quarterback position. He is going to be out there for every single important passing down at the bare minimum, but he'll also be out there for any down at all, because Josh Wiley was the guy who kind of rivaled him for snaps, and he left him in the dust. And I think a lot of people are going to discount Chigo Okonkwo's presence in the offense, and I really hope there's a slate that we can take advantage of where he is going to be like one of the top scoring tight ends. Is this the slate, Felix?
You're kind of persuading me, because I'm like fading just about everything on the Titans.
And that's the problem. This week, I think you can get away with that. I think you can. And you include the defense because, again, like you said, play 2,200. You got that potential where if they did, like, all of a sudden Bo Nix has some severe regression, not that all that'll happen or whatever, but like throws a pick six or something, and then Titans are in this game. It's like a really low-scoring, muddy battle. That's the case to be made. But, like, this is just a tough matchup for Tennessee, man.
Yeah, it's probably the worst matchup he could have probably gotten to start his season with this defense. Sean Payton, but there is a sneaky play. Alec, I can't say his last name.
Yomenor. You know what? A fun fact about Alec Yomenor?
What's that?
He's just absolutely schooled Travis Hunter a couple years
ago. Yes. I saw that.
Absolute stud. Travis Hunter is a mid DB, above average wide receiver. All right, I'm sorry, I had to get my jabs out there, but Alec Yomenor, stud. And he's going to be the wide receiver number 3.
Yeah, right behind Lockett. Yeah, but I just think in this defense, if you're going to target anybody, it's got to be against the weakest part of the defense, and if the third quarterback is probably the best shot, and if they're behind, I could see a lot of over the middle for Big A.
Yeah. Ayo Manor. Maybe it isn't Ayo Manor. I thought I heard the Stanford announcers call it that way. At least they're just ESPN announcers. But yeah, no, I like that. Technology will wait another week for me. That's good stuff. Yeah, but yeah, it's a tough spot. I mean, who do they play in week 2? They host the Rams. That will be the slate that I can get on board with.
I'm down with a whole bunch of Chig for next week. Yes.
Yeah, Chig in week 2. Just a little bit of Chig in week 1. For those who are watching, again, you can build a great bag builder on DraftKings. If you get a 6 of 6 on the Pick 6 app, they're giving away a free entry and maybe even a couple of free entries if you link your Discord to the DraftKings channel. My favorite prop was Chigo Okonkwo at 30.5. I think that actually moved to like 36. And I could be wrong, but I think I got the number at 30.5 the last time I submitted. I'm going right back to that's going to be my first pick when we build this one at the end of the show. All right, that's enough about the Titans and their extremely low team total. Let's move on to the Texans and the Rams. Texans, lots of question marks about them. And by that, I mean, you had C.J. Stroud not look too great last year. Then they get rid of, I'm blanking on the offensive coordinator's name.
Kevin, no.
Yeah, this is where the show
call him PFF Bobby. They call him PFF Bobby. I can't remember
Bobby
his name.
Slowick.
Bobby Slowick.
Yeah. Nick Haley takes over. Yeah, that was going to bug me the entire time if I didn't get that name.
I just remember the nickname, but I couldn't remember the last name. That's all.
I slandered Bobby Slowick all last season, too. He wasn't giving C.J. Stroud the best chance of success. Texans go out, they draft Jaden Higgins. Texans go out, they sign Christian Kirk. Texans go out, they get the teammate of Jaden Higgins. They get Jalen Noel. They put a lot of time into this passing offense for C.J. Stroud to have a rebound year 3 after one of the best rookie seasons that we have seen. I mean, he was incredible that rookie year, and I'm not going to discount that. And again, you know why? Ohio State. But there's a lot of Ohio State guys here. I just got to keep mentioning that.
And Michigan guys here, Nico. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, there you go. I like that. And then for what it's worth, too, I mean, the Joe Mixon thing, that's really weird. But Nick Chubb, probably going to be RB1 here. Dameon Pierce, maybe the RB2. The Chubb situation at 5,200. It's going to be an awkward thing, but I do like the fact that he had an entire offseason to kind of heal after he kind of played a little bit last year after that gruesome leg injury a couple of years ago. What are you doing with Houston?
So, okay, I'm getting some Nico. Week 1, healthy. Let's get Nico out there, get him touches. I'm in the RPS Discord now, and we brought up that Xavier Hutchinson is going to be running, next up. So I think it's going to be Xavier Hutchinson if you wanted a bare minimum piece to pair with CJ Stroud if you didn't have the money for him. I also am just straight up fading Nick Chubb, and I'm sprinkling in Dameon Pierce. I love that guy's film. New coordinator, could be. Let's look into the future. We see Nick Chubb run into the offensive line 7 times in a row. doesn't get but 2 to 3 yards. We see Dameon Pierce rip off a 60-yard touchdown run, and we're like, why are we playing Nick Chubb? And it's Dameon Pierce the rest of the way out.
I like that. I like the visions, Felix, because I have those visions all the time. So they're like, yeah, I can see this happening. And then I describe the situation in my head. I roll the film, as I would say. I love that type of stuff. And this is kind of critical to it. I don't think a lot of people realize just how bad the running game was after the initial extremely hot start by Joe Mixon. Yeah. I think it was like Pro Football Talk said, like, people always talk about the bad moves and stuff. Like one of the worst moves of the offseason was the Bengals letting go of Joe Mixon after that like Monday night game where he scored like 3 touchdowns. And it was like so garbage, right? It was like one of those things as a Bengals fan, I was like, come on, dude. Like we couldn't pay him. He's a great runner. He's a good running back. But like Chase Brown's pretty damn good.
We had Chase Brown.
I can guarantee you we didn't drop off the running back position. But yeah, I think that was like the funnier thing. But like, yeah, I didn't have faith in their running game toward the end of last season. I certainly don't have any faith in it right now. That said, if there was a time where you're just like hoping for a miracle, a revival of a career, Nick Chubb, feel good story, 5,200. But yeah, I mean, we all saw that injury. We all saw he wasn't the same guy afterwards. But yeah, it's like the offseason that could kind of heal him. Fun fact, it's right. A lot of people might roll their eyes. I do a lot of WNBA content. I think Sabersim is the absolute stones for WNBA. Dare Ogunbowale. I watched. I've always like watched him and stuff. Didn't really think about it. His sister plays in the WNBA. It was an all-star and everything like that. Okay. Never put 2 and 2 together until a member put, "Hey, let's get Enrique's brother's doing pretty good." I'm like, what's he talking about? Like Ogunbowale is not a very common last name, so like I just kind of like sprung on me. Like I just had to mention Ogunbowale there. That was funny.
That's crazy.
Yeah, the Rams here, and now we can talk about Puka, Devontae, and then Stafford's back injury that no one knows anything about. Kyron Williams will be running back number 1. You could see a little bit more of Blake Corum this year. I think people were jumping the gun on Marquez Hunter a little bit. I think Corum will be the running back number 2 behind Kyron Williams. That said, if you're behind Kyron Williams, what role do you really have in this offense? Right. Tyler Higbee returned after missing the majority of last season, then got hurt in the playoff game after absolutely nuking in the first quarter. That was something. That was a pretty fun time because I remember having Tyler Higbee on that team, and he was absolutely going off at like mid-price or something on the showdown and ends up getting hurt. Again, I think people jumped the gun a little bit with Terrence Ferguson. Sean McVay has made it very clear that Tyler Higbee is tight end number 1, at least to start the season. It's a cheap tag for him. I mean, this offense is moderately priced. I think Puka's a good price. I think Devontae's a fair price. It just seems the Rams prices are all very fair, is how I would put it. Felix, what do you think?
I mean, I'm in the same boat. I'm playing Devontae with only Stafford. If Stafford ever goes down with that back, I'm out. That's the reason I'm low on the Rams in best ball. I'm okay with playing them in DFS as long as they're healthy. We dumped Cooper Kupp, same age as Devontae Adams. So I mean, it's shade on my guy Cooper Kupp, but it's the same. It's the same play. Like both number 1 wide receivers. I don't know. I'm playing Puka. I'm gonna have some Devontae. I think Kyron's a good bet. But they're okay. They're all okay. Like I could definitely see them on the optimal, at least one piece, if not a stack. But I'm not going out of my way to push them in either.
The 2025 Los Angeles Rams, they're okay. I like that. That's our mantra, baby. For the Rams, they're okay. They're not going to be a team I stack up, especially around the season, like you said, with Stafford's back injury. There's a little bit of question marks. There was one guy I was just high on, is Puka, just because we have seen the upside on any given game-to-game basis with Stafford. But otherwise, like, not going out of my way to jam Kyron. Same thing with him last year too. Hot start, kind of cooled down a little bit toward the lighter half of the season. So yeah, I mean, I'm very much okay just going like Puka from the Rams side and kind of wait.
It's one injury away. It's one injury away from being bad.
That yes, they are a fragile team. I will say this, just to kind of build on the Rams point because we got one game left. When have the Rams made a really bad decision with personnel in the last few years where you're just like, man, they made a wrong decision? Because I can't really count how many times they've done that because they did a really good job with
They just got rid of Cooper Kupp. What are we talking about?
That's what I mean. Who's going to be more right? Is it going to be the Seahawks or is it going to be the Rams? I'm putting my money on the Rams. I'm not going to lie. I feel like
it might be bitter. I might be a bitter Cup owner, and
I feel like Cooper Kupp really wanted to return. The Rams were like, it's like that scene in like in Moneyball where he like points to, he's like, we don't want him back. I'll pay that guy. They got rid of Kupp, right? Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm putting my money on the Rams. Their front office. They've made chicken salad out of chicken crap. And again, a lot of people were expecting that defense to be extremely bad last season. And sure enough, they had guys like Verse, who just stepped up and absolutely became a beast. And that's the stuff. Too. Eagles were the worst. And I want to build on this real quick. Eagles were one of the worst teams on defense in 2023. They were the best team on defense in 2024. Just because you're bad the previous year does not mean you're going to be bad the next year. And I want people to kind of associate that with the Cincinnati Bengals. When you're thinking about Felix and you're thinking, I'm going to click the Cincinnati Bengals 3,600 defense tomorrow, that's the case to be made for him, as Al Golden transforms them from the worst to the best, just like the Eagles did with Sirianni.
Also, just like Jamar Chase couldn't see the lines on the ball. Oh, nobody's drafting him anymore. And what are we talking about here, guys? You can draft, a good defense.
Yeah, exactly. And Al Golden, he worked wonders at Notre Dame. I got my hope for the Bengals defense. The more I drink this Red Bull and Powerade, the more energized I get.
I got white peach over here.
Yeah, I saw it. We're also a Red Bull show here, and also a DraftKings show. All right, last game of the day: Lions, Packers. Okay, so Micah Parsons joins the team. They get rid of Kenny Clark. Kenny Clark had a sack on was a Thursday night. Does Micah Parsons equal that production? I don't know. But Micah Parsons will get way more pressures and won't concede the outside run to Jalen Hurts every single time like we saw that Dallas D-line do. I think this is the most interesting team in football. I'm going to talk about the Packers here. I'm a really big believer in the Lions, and I think last season, we're going to talk about that here in a second, but one of the most battered teams on the defensive side. They lose Ben Johnson. There's going to be a little bit of an adjustment there. But I look at the Packers, and I just see okay. I see okay. And they're good at running back with Josh Jacobs. Okay, your best wide receiver is Matthew Golden. You have a banged-up Jaden Reed. Who's going to step up behind any of those guys? Is Matthew Golden going to be ready for week one? Yeah, great out of Texas. I think he ended the season extremely strong with Quinn Ewers. I don't love it. I think Tucker Kraft could be the best option at 4K. But, what are you doing with this team? Because it's confusing. I mean, this Lions defense will not be as bad as last year because they get everyone back. They get Hutchinson, they get Reader, they get a lot of guys back. But, my God, this Packers team, I don't get the hype.
I don't get it that much either. But if you're going to attack the Lions, the best week is going to be week one where they lose not only their offensive coordinator, their defensive coordinator. I am going to be playing Josh Jacobs. Again, we have so much value at the wide receiver position. I'm spending up at running back, and I think it's a great play there. Jordan Love, I'm only pairing with Tucker Kraft. It's just so mishmash at the wide receiver position. Golden wear number 22, weird vibes there. He's definitely a good player. He will get his weeks, but I'm on it. Jaden Reed with the foot, I'm out. Dobbs, okay play. Wicks, I love Wicks in best ball, but I don't know if it translates to DFS week one.
Yeah, I'm with you there. And there's also this little bit of sneakiness too, where Josh Jacobs is good for 2 to 3 catches in a game, on a game-to-game basis last year. And it's something to kind of note at 6,700. It's not an overly terrible price tag. The Lions defense, again, it's tough to take any sample size, but I think any spot here is going to be a decent spot for this Packers offense, kind of move the ball a little bit. It's just a matter of who. And like I said, it's just a whole bunch of okay. Are they going to have the true wide receiver number one? Sounds like Matthew Golden had a fantastic training camp. Sounds like he looks like a first-round pick, which no one else can say that on the Packers wide receiving core. So it's good to kind of have that.
Yeah. But
yeah, I mean, I think I would take a chance on Golden. I think Jacobs, I think that's a very fair point. 6,700 is very cheap for a guy is going to carry the workload. Wilson and Brooks are going to spell a little bit. He might take a drive off in each half, but overall, he's going to be the kind of guy to lead the backfield with ease. Kraft is definitely the tight end one in this room. I can already see, if they haven't talked about it already, JSU's on some Tucker Kraft and Jordan. He loves the Packers, and I respect that. He's a big Packers guy. I said they'll finish last in the NFC North. I didn't realize that Caleb Williams' regression might happen even after an already.
I was not expecting that. Yeah.
Yeah. I just some reports coming out. I hope. I bet it's over. I agree. But we'll get to that. But yeah, anything else you want to add about the Packers before we get to our last team of the slate?
I'm good. I think we got everything in.
Perfect. Lions, Amon-Ra St. Brown was dealing with a little something in the training camp. That seems to be done and dealt with. He's going to be completely healthy for this one. Jared Goff at a kind of a high price, like at 6,500. This is where like his projection is very much in line with a guy like Joe Flacco, a guy like Daniel Jones, where they're like 1,600, 1,400 cheaper. It's tougher to play, Jared Goff as a pure pocket passer, but same time, like, this is a game that can shoot out. It is a divisional game to start out the season though. So I just want to be careful with those. It's outside. The weather, though, I mean, if you live in the Midwest, I mean, the weather has been just so beautiful the last 2.5 weeks. We finally got some rain over the last few days, but it's literally it's been the Monaco of the Midwest. I'm saying that right now. Like Cincinnati has been the Monaco of the Midwest, and it's just one of those things. And like, if we get good weather tomorrow, I could see this one kind of having some points. Jameer Gibbs, 7,700. You're still going to have that split with David Montgomery, but I think it's clear that Gibbs.
It's got to be.
It's going to be closer to 65-35, I think, as it moves on. But Montgomery's going to be a factor. You're going to get vultured with Gibbs. I mean, that's just the reality of it. You almost can't say, you can say it's a vulture because Gibbs will do all the work, and then they'll bring in Montgomery. But I just want people to be aware. Like, you're not going to just get like 100% alpha of Gibbs. You're going to get 65% of really high quality production, but Montgomery could easily have 12 touchdowns this year. So, yeah, I mean, what do you.
Sorry.
Oh, you're good. Like, what do you think about this Lions team? Because there's a lot of choices, and no Ben Johnson in particular.
The ownership for Amon-Ra St. Brown is criminal with how good he is. I don't know. I get it. Not a great matchup, but I mean, 4% potentially. If he even gets to 8, like that's still like of the top tier wide receivers, everybody's going to Chase. Respectfully, that is a great decision, but if there's an outcome where the almost, top tier prices, he can outscore him, it's possible. And I think we're just bypassing because we have so much money at the end of our building our lineups. And we're like, oh, well, I have the extra money. I'll just get Amon-Ra St. Brown. Like, I think we should also take a look, maybe grabbing some more ASB. I am also like, we don't know what this offense is going to look like. I'm excited for it because I have a lot of Laporta. I have a lot of Lions pieces. I have a lot of Gibbs. For the Millie Maker, I'm fading Goff just because I don't care for it. I'll sprinkle him in, but I do think it's more of a bring back for the Packers. But if we want to game stack it.
Sounds good. I kind of agree with you there overall. And I don't really have like too much to add because I like that Amon-Ra St. Brown point where the upside is there. And my favorite comment, though, was the rule still applies. I never play golf outside of the dome. What is this? One of their 3 games outside the dome or something like that? I respect that rule, Scott.
Yeah, that's a good rule. It's a good rule.
I mean, it's like Amon-Ra, this tag is cheap, right? You can come away from one thing this shot, like that Amon-Ra tag where he's projected for under 5%. Yeah, that's a good play in any Millie situation at all, especially with $1 million up top where only 5% of the field is going to play him. I think it might get closer to 10. Yeah, I like that though. I really do like that.
800,000 people, and so many of them playing Chase. Just to get a little bit of leverage, you play Amon-Ra.
All right. So we usually had a rule where it's like sub 20%, but it's so tough to gauge ownership. We're not going to do that. But Felix, I need your play of the day. The one guy you're walking out of here and you're like, I'm going to have so much of this guy. He's going to be in the Millie winner. He's going to be optimal in the Millie. Who's that guy for you? I can go first if you want a little time to think about it.
Yeah. Give me 1 second. There's a couple people I need to decipher.
I had a feeling, this gives me the chance to vulture maybe that Tampa Bay guy.
Okay. I think it is. I think it already is because it already fits your narrative. I already think I know who it is.
The Ohio State University. I mean, that was you sound like an Ohio State student. Look at that constructive thinking. I did not go to Ohio State. I went to Northern Kentucky University. So yeah, I don't have.
You could fooled me.
I don't have that same intel. I could have fooled. That's good stuff. All right. Yeah. You know what? It fits the theme of the show. It fits everything.
Yeah. There it is. Yep.
And I'm going to go with the Georgia Bulldog. I'm going with Brock Bowers. There we go. There's the curveball we've been waiting for. Brock Bowers is going to be my guy. I'm going to be spending up at tight end a significant portion of my lineups. We're going to have plenty of book and stuff. I'll leave it for you. But I'm going to go with the former Georgia Bulldog, one of the most historic rookie seasons at the tight end position last season, 6,500. He's going to start the season off hot. Brock Bowers is my Millie Maker roundtable play of the night. Who's yours?
My pick is probably the clearest one of all. It's
Oh.
JT for the Colts.
Yeah,
that defensive line is so bad. He's going to run up and down Lucas Oil Stadium and tear them a new one.
I love it. Jonathan Taylor from Wisconsin. We got some SEC. We got some Big Ten. We did not go with an Ohio State guy, even though there's plenty to choose from.
Ibuka was definitely the play there, but I think we got our guys.
We gave him the bonus, right? We didn't say Ibuka, even though
that was the free play. That was the free play.
Yeah, that was the You get three core plays from us. I think that's a really good starting point. You go Ibuka, you go Bowers, you go JT. All right, guys, stick around for us real quick. We'll do a pick six if you're into that type of stuff. We're going to do a pick six right now here, Felix. We're going to take about 3-4 minutes. I'm going to kind of rifle off, but you know where we're going to start right away, though, right? I got an extra bag builder. It's 1.85 million. So you're going to be able to get a chance for over 2 million. I'm going to make that prediction right now. I'm going to say 2.4 million you can get a share of. I already saw a guy on Twitter hit a 6-6 on Thursday, so it's not going to be 1.2 million. But real quick, the first game I'm going to is the Raiders, right? I think this is going to kind of fit the theme of our plays of the day. I'm going to go Brock Bowers over 65.5 receiving yards. The goal is to get 6-6, so there's no multipliers for those wondering. It's just to get 6-6. For the Jonathan Taylor, would you prefer if they do give touchdowns here? No, we don't. Would you just want to do his rushing yards?
Just straight up rushing yards, yes.
Perfect. And you know who I'm doing next, right? And Mecca.
Yeah, go to Buka. Yeah.
Buka. That's just a rule right there. So I need 3 others. Have you looked at the bag builder on DraftKings?
I had not even taken a glance yet, so I apologize. But I think I have another one. I think I have one.
We're going to go Emeka Egbuka over 59.5. You think you got one? Take the shot.
Bryce Young over 215 passing yards.
I like that. Bryce Young over 215.5 passing yards. That is great. I think I'm going to take us into a Monday night game because I like to have people sweating. I like to have people, wondering, waiting, what's going on, right? Oh, it moved.
Oh, was it King Kevin Monday game?
DeAndre Swift moved. Sorry, it was 9.5 last week. It's 15.5 now. I don't like that number as much. So you know what we're doing? We're going back to Denver. We're going to Tennessee side of the ball. We're taking Chigo Okonkwo, 32.5 receiving yards. I'm going to go with him as the main man, number 5 pick here. All right, Felix, we got one pick left.
Yeah.
You know what vibe I'm feeling right now?
What we vibing?
I'm feeling Ricky Pearsall.
Thank goodness.
43.5 receiving
yards.
Yes.
Smash.
It's a slew of overs, but that's good.
Overs are fun.
Yeah, slew of overs is good. We're splitting potentially 2.4 million is my projection. It could be higher. It might really rack up here in a bit. Submitting that now for those wondering. Brock Bowers, 65.5 over. Jonathan Taylor, 80.5 over. Emeka Egbuka, 59.5 over. Bryce Young, 215.5 over. Chigo Okonkwo, 32.5 over. And Ricky Pearsall, 43.5 over. Again,
Smashes.
6 overs. Some would call us donkeys, but am I going to look like a donkey when I get a $300 credit from DraftKings in my account? Yeah, I'll still look like a donkey, but hey, it don't matter. All right, guys. We appreciate y'all for watching. Felix, you guys can check it out. His channel below. It's in the description here on the YouTube channel, Best Ball Nation. You can follow him on Twitter at Crying Buffalo. You can also follow me on Twitter at Rubio Dimes. We'll be here every Saturday throughout the season. We appreciate y'all for watching. And if we don't win the Millie, if one of us doesn't win the Millie, we truly do hope it's one of y'all. I mean, do we prefer you one of us? Yeah. But hey, we're gonna be rooting for you. Felix can have a second one. I mean, we can't let Felix get a second one before we get one of our first, right? Yeah. But, it should be a lot of fun. Good luck, everyone. Have a great rest of y'all's day. Bye-bye.